What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Dude's Diner. We all love sandwiches. And instead of getting the bread in the supermarket, make it yourself at home. All right, today we're doing Wonder Bread. Some people call it white bread, but it's going to be a soft, fluffy, delicious loaf that you can make into sandwiches or just eat the whole thing plain by itself. Regardless, it is delicious. So, let's get started. Alright guys, let's go over what we need really quick. We need flour. Okay, we're going to want about 3 cups of flour. We need our instant yeast, about 2.5 teaspoons. Butter, about 3 tablespoons. White granulated sugar, we need about 2 teaspoons. Honey, about a tablespoon. We need salt, about 1 teaspoon. And last but not least, we need 1 cup of milk. So, like everything else, we got to heat up our milk. Alright, our milk is warmed up. Let's give that a nice little whisk. Alright, and you want your milk between 90 degrees and 110. So let's add our sugar. 2 teaspoons, my friends. Let's add in our honey. Like I said, about a tablespoon of this, guys. And let's just mix that together till it's all nice and dissolved. Next, let's add in our yeast. We want about 2.5 teaspoons. There's 1, 2. That's about half. Let me add a little bit more. There we go. And now let's whisk this all together. This is what you call blooming your yeast. If you have dry yeast like I do, and you keep it in the fridge, you want to make sure your yeast is alive. Let's take our yeast mixture, set that off to the side, and let's get our bowl ready. We're just going to add in the dry ingredients. So let's add in about 3 cups of flour. And we want our salt. 1 teaspoon of the salt. And now we can take our whisk and just mix that all together. And now we wait for the yeast, my friends. Once this is ready, we'll add in our butter, add in the yeast mixture, and then we'll use our KitchenAid. You can also do this by hand. You knead this by hand on your countertop. You guys have seen me do this lots of times, but I'm going to take it easy on myself. And you guys can see that the bubbles have begun to form. Now we know our yeast is alive. Let's get to work. Let's add on our hook. This butter has been softened and it's been measured. Let's add in that yeast. Well, let me get. All right, now let's turn her on, friends. Yeah, we can feel that. Make sure it's not super sticky, which it is not. And one thing you guys can do to make sure the gluten is nice and developed is stretch it and make sure that you can see through it before it tears. Yep, we are good to go. Take our ball out. Just form into a nice ball. Let's throw it in our nice clean bowl. Alright, we will cover this and let it double in size. Should take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours or anywhere in between. Alright guys, our dough has proofed. Before we take care of that, let's get our bread pan. And we're gonna need some more butter. We don't need much, we just need enough butter to coat the bottom and the sides of our bread pan. You can use your fingers if you'd like, but I'm going to use a paper towel. And that's it. Alright, let's set that off to the side. And let's take a look at our dough. Beautiful. Now we just want to shape this into about the size of our loaf pan. Now let's just press that in, all the corners, nicks and crannies. Alright, now let's cover this up and let it rise again. Alright, and this should take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Alright folks, our bread has doubled in size. The oven is preheated to 350. Let's throw her in. And now we'll bake this between 25 and 30 minutes, or until the internal temperature of the bread reaches around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, let's check the temperature like we did with meat, folks, in the thickest spot. We are good to go. Make sure you have your wire rack. Now let's just see if this thing will come out. Nope. And just like with the rest of your bread recipe, friends, once it comes out of the oven, put it on a wire rack and wait for it to cool completely before you cut into it. Alright guys, the bread is cooled down nicely. Let's just take off just the end here. Let's see how we did. And that, my friends, very soft, proofed beautifully. Yep. Mm. It's perfect. Super soft, fluffy. Little hint of sweetness and a nice little hint of saltiness too. I mean, the sweet and the salty come together great, but it tastes like high quality store bought white bread. Mm. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Dr. Duke's Diner. If you did, hit that thumbs up, follow me, and make sure your notifications are turned on so you know when I have a new episode. And this recipe will be down in the description. And so if you guys want to make it, you know where to find it. Thanks, folks.